Welcome to Canadian Innovators, the show that celebrates innovation, entrepreneurs, and the Canadian spirit. I'm Jocelyn Bamford, and every week we introduce a new entrepreneur or expert in the economy to tell their stories and unpack the challenges of keeping jobs in Canada, as well as share ideas for economic growth and prosperity. Today on the program, we are going to explore a pillar of our manufacturing sector in Ontario as we discuss the Canadian mold making industry. We're going to highlight Cavalier Tools. Since 1975, Cavalier Tools and Manufacturing Limited has been successfully servicing customers worldwide in the tooling industry. Cavalier Tools is North America's most respected global manufacturer of mid to large size mold, boasting 200 Canadian employees and 50 worldwide, and 3 plants totaling 132,000 square feet. Please welcome to the program, Chris Vander Park, International Business Development Manager. Welcome to the program, Chris.
Thanks for having me, Jocelyn. Glad to be here.
Chris, tell us your story. How did you find your way to Cavalier?
Oh, funny story. I graduated the local college here, St. Clair College, as an industrial general machinist, and my co-op placement was at Cavalier Tool. So when I came here, I started pushing a broom. I actually the one of the three original owners made sure I could spell broom, and that was the first test. And pushed a broom up and down the shop for a week and a half and passed the, hey, do you show up to work? Do you have a good attitude? And are you trainable? And started my apprenticeship. So I was at Cavalier for about a year and a half. I moved to another shop. I was 15 years there. Moved to another shop. In 2008, I was let go in the recession. Worked, picked up at another shop, and one morning at 6:30 a.m., Brian Bendig, the owner of Cavalier, called me and said, hey, Chris, you're coming back to Cavalier. I need you to come work for me. And I was like, I don't think so, Brian. It's not in the cards. And he said, yeah, I need you. Yeah. We're gonna change the pace of Cavalier. We're gonna change Cavalier, and I have the other pillars put in place, and I need you to come help me. And I want to change it from a hammer and chisel company to a state-of-the-art, world-class manufacturing facility. And that's where we are today. And I'll say the page was written by him. So
Amazing. What a great story. Love the rise from pushing a broom up into management. So now let's talk about Cavalier Tools. Tell us their story. How did they come to be?
yeah, another funny story. So Cavalier last year, November 17th, we celebrated our 50th anniversary. So 1975, there was three original owners. They came from a company called ITL, International Tool, which was the um, mold company in North America at the time. And all three of them came from there and started a Cavalier Tool. And on November 17th, one of those owners, his wife had a baby who is now our present owner, which is very ironic. So they both turned 50 last year.
That's
So
quite an accomplishment. Amazing story. Uh,
yeah.
Tell us, you've been kind of on the ground floor. What's the most important thing you've learned in your journey, both professionally and working with Cavalier?
Wow. The most important thing, geez, I've learned so many. People are first. Um, don't lie, cheat, or steal. That we work hard to be an ethical company, follow the rules, do what is supposed to be done, and as best possible. And that starts from the top down.
An amazing story. So tell us about, we're going to get into Cavalier Tools a little bit more after the break, but tell us about the international footprint of Cavalier.
Yeah. We have, obviously, like you said earlier, we have three facilities in Windsor, Ontario. We have three offices in India. We have almost 40 people there, and that's to be able to run two shifts. The thing that Cavalier sells is speed, and we need to be able to design a tool 24/7. We need to be able to purchase a tool 24/7. We need to be able to estimate a tool 24/7. We have a 24/7 business to be able to compete with the rest of the world globally.
It is a global marketplace, a lot of competition. We're going to hear more about Cavalier Tool and the mold making industry when we get back from breaks. So don't go away. You're watching Canadian Innovators on the News Forum Network. We're back. I'm speaking with Chris Vander Park, International Business Development Manager for Cavalier Tools. Let's talk about Cavalier Tools and all that you do.
Well, I do a little bit of everything. My role and my title is international business. So I oversee our India division. I oversee our global stuff. We build tools globally. I used to, prior to that title, I was the engineering manager. I'm still the purchasing and logistics manager. I'm part of the team, I'll say, with our ownership, our president Brian Bendig, and that we strategize, we put together. We're looking for the future. So I get to be part of everything.
So, Chris, tell us about what Cavalier Tools does from cradle to grave, because I know you do some amazing things, and some of the pictures that we're going to show are absolutely revolutionary. So, tell us about Cavalier Tools.
Yeah, we like to work with our customers right at the beginning. We have a feasibility team that helps them develop their parts, shows them how things are going to work or not work, or what we need to do to try and help expenses or get costs down. From there, we do what's called the mold flow. We take it, we simulate it, how it's going to run in their press. From there, we engineer it. Then it goes to our CAM programming, which for our CNCs, and goes out to our world-class manufacturing facility with the state-of-the-art equipment and gets cut, fitted. We make things that make things.
So expand on that for people that don't know what the mold making industry is. Tell us what molds are used for.
Yeah, sure. It's the molds are used for pretty much everything that is in your day to day. So if you get in a car and look at around in your car, it's all molds. The front fascia is a mold. For Cavalier, we're lucky, we're very diversified. If you walk through Home Depot, we built all those tools. If you walk through, you look at a recreational vehicle, you want to ride a snowmobile, we built those parts. A tractor out in the field, inside there's plastic parts. There's plastic everywhere.
So, how important is the mold making industry to both the Ontario and the Canadian economy?
Oh, geez. I'm gonna say it's the backbone. It's where it starts. Like I said, we don't make the car. We make the parts that go in the car. We don't make the tractor. We make the parts that go in the tractor. Windsor, there's 14,500 mold makers in the city of Windsor. That's just the city of Windsor. The direct impact would be huge. It's a big business.
So, Chris, what sets Cavalier apart from its competitors? I know this is a very competitive marketplace.
Very competitive. I'm gonna say my ownership is first and foremost. Our people and ownership I'm gonna put together, but my owner is second to none. He's the most non-complacent person I've ever met in my life. Uh, his commitment to capex and being automated and thinking for the future 15 years ago when I came here, and his commitment to me and saying, Chris, we're going to automate. We have to compete globally. We have to compete against a much less labor charge, less steel costs. So how are we going to do it? We're going to do it with automation, with robots, with RFID chips, with the latest and greatest machines, with full tool changers, high speed machining, everything that you need to be a world-class manufacturing facility. And that's what we are.
So, a lot of headwinds in manufacturing in Ontario and in Canada. What do you see as the biggest threat to the mold making industry and to Cavalier Tools specifically?
Well, specifically, our day to day is the Section 232 tariff is a huge threat to us. We have a trade agreement that lets our goods go back and forth across the United States. Who's our biggest customer? The 232 puts a flat tax on top of our mold now. So our trade agreement, as we see, our tool still moves back and forth, but if it's made of steel, which is 95% and actually probably 99% of a mold, if it's made of steel, there's a 15% tariff now on the purchase value of our purchase order from a customer. So to put it in easy terms, is if the purchase order was $100,000, when I ship the tool, now it's 115. We'll do that on $1 million tool. We build $1 million tools all the time. That's $1,150,000 now that our customer wasn't expecting a $150,000 CapEx hit. So the 232 to compete is very difficult.
So we've had other experts come on and say that they think that there was an error in not exempting the mold making business from the 232. We just have about 15 seconds. So I'm going to hold you on that because we're going to get to that after the commercial break because we got to go to commercial. Lots more to continue with Chris Vander Park, International Business Development Manager at Cavalier Tools, when we continue on Canadian Innovators. Welcome back. I'm Jocelyn Bamford, and we're speaking with Chris Vander Park, International Business Development Manager for Cavalier Tools. Now, let's talk about the USMCA. We were talking about the tariffs right before commercial. How does not having a deal impact Cavalier Tools?
Well, Jocelyn, I'm going to correct that just a little bit because we do have a deal, right? We do have a USMCA deal right now. So in that deal, an injection mold crosses the border tariff-free. What we don't have is a fix for the Section 232, which circumvents the USMCA.
Right.
So the Section 232 overrides our trade deal, which, our business is built around that trade deal. Our entire CapEx, our entire existence is built around selling to the United States as a tariff-free. So we do have a deal. It just, the 232 needs to be fixed.
So what would you do to fix that so that we can get back to business?
Well, for me, it's easy. I just get rid of the 232, but I understand the reasoning behind it. I'm not against a 232 deal or a tariff. I'm totally not. We have to be able to compete globally. Very, very difficult to compete with the cost of material overseas. You should not be able to circumvent our USMCA deal. We have a deal that the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of Canada, and Mexico have all signed. We have a trade deal that our businesses depend on, rely on, revolve around. We need to fix the 232. We need to get together and figure out how that's going to be fixed so that we can be partners in success.
So the extension for the trade deal is barreling down on us. How do you think this is going to play out?
Oh, geez, if I had a magic wand, it'd be worth a lot of money. But how's it going to play out? I think we have some very smart people. We have smart politicians on both sides of the border. And I think it's going to play out so that both countries benefit the way we've benefited for the last, I'm not sure how long the NAFTA was in place for. We're an intertwined economy. And Doug Ford used it in a interview with Wolf Blitzer that I loved, and he called it a scrambled egg. Well, we can't unscramble the egg. We need to get back. We need to be friends. We need to sit and talk like adults and what we want to do and how we want to do it together.
So, Chris, how do you think negotiations have been going so far, and what would you have done differently?
How are they going so far? I'm not privy to that. Obviously, I'm not behind closed doors. I have to rely that our prime minister knows the pain and suffering that this industry is going to be under, and it's not that we're laying people off. We have work right now. What the longer term effect is our customers are tired of hearing the word tariff the same as we are, and they're tired of having upcharges at the end of a tool. So the long term effect of that is I won't have a customer eventually. Hard to come by. What I would do different, I would make sure that our industry knows that it's being addressed. Again, I'll challenge the prime minister to come to Windsor and see what we've invested in this company to be able to compete globally, and now to change the rules on us on a industry that doesn't have big margins to begin with. Well, come and see what we do and how we do and how desperate we are and how important it is to get something done quickly.
So, Chris, in your opinion, do you think Canadian politicians are doing enough to get a trade deal extended?
I have to rely that behind the scenes there's lots going on that I don't know about. I'm just a tool shop in Windsor, right? I can tell you from our mayor's perspective, I've was seeing Drew Dilkins this morning. He's a big proponent of the mold industry, obviously. Our Windsor Chamber of Commerce, Ryan Donnelly, has been a great voice. Our MPs in this area have done a phenomenal job of getting us to the forefront. We had the committee hearings. We went and testified there. The reports come out. We've gotten a big voice. From what I'm told by the MPs here, the things that have happened is lightning speed for government. So, we're used to, we want to do something, we make it happen. Government, you know, how long can we make it last? 6 months, a year, 2 years? I don't know the lasting effect. I don't know what it has on our customers.
Well, we're going to go to break, and when we get back, Chris, I'm going to give you the opportunity to be a politician and fix the situation we're in now. Please don't go away. You're watching Canadian Innovators on the News Farm Network. Welcome back. My guest today is Chris Vander Park, International Business Development Manager for Cavalier Tools. Chris, let's talk about the 232 tariffs. How has tariff impacted your business? Have you lost any business because of the tariffs?
Of course, we've lost business because of it. I can tell you, I've sit in conversations with our customers who just say, "That's it. I'm tired of talking about tariffs. I need to know what my price is going to be at the end." And unfortunately, dealing with Canada mold makers, I don't necessarily know that right now.
Okay, Chris, what is your prediction for the mold making industry in Ontario next year? Is there grave concerns? Is there areas for growth? Are there opportunities? Talk to us about this.
Well, is there grave concerns? That's a very, very dire statement. So I'll say no, there's not grave concerns. My concern is making sure that our government steps up and gets something done. I have to believe that's going to happen. The mold making industry in Windsor, Ontario, I can tell you is the most resilient bunch of people that you would ever meet. We've had to adapt. We have to compete globally. We're competing with the SOEs and other low cost countries that are putting tools here. We've had to compete. I'm going to go off on a tangent a little bit on you, but I travel the world. And when I go to other shops, I see their shops and I know what their finish line looks like because that's where I'm at today. I don't know what my finish line looks like. I have to reinvent it every day to become bigger, faster, smarter, more competitive.
So, Chris, this is the part of the show that every week I ask my guest, if you were a politician, what 3 things would you do to grow jobs in the economy? You have the floor, Chris. What would you do?
Well, first we need to protect ourselves and protect ourselves against SOEs. We need to be on a fair playing field, right? If we can't protect ourselves and create a fair and predictable trade environment, very, very difficult to compete. Second is we have to invest in the people. We have to get our skilled trades. We have to make it a better availability. Mold making specifically needs to be put as a red seal trade right now. For some reason, a tool and die maker is and a mold maker isn't. They're almost identical things, and it's not a red seal trade. So we lack funding because of it. Specifically, we need as again, when I found that out, I couldn't believe we weren't a red seal trade compared to the others. And again, just I we need to make sure that we're going to protect our country uh, and our partner, I'll say our partner next door, um, as best possible. Because without it, we have no manufacturing.
So, you mentioned SOEs. Explain to our viewers what an SOE is.
Uh, so it's more or less a government-owned enterprise, right? So where government has money in the business, and I'm going to use. I used to work at a pharmacy a long, long time ago, and the owner owned a marina, and the city built a marina, brand new marina, and they were charging say $10 a foot for a boat, and he was charging 20. Well, the city wasn't making money on it because they were government owned. They didn't have to make money because it was subsidized. So what happens is we compete with subsidized tools that come in from other countries because the government owns part of the companies. They don't have to make money. They just want to keep people working.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand the impact of dumping. We've talked on this show at length on dumping, and and unfair trade practices and the impact on our jobs and economy, especially for our kids. So, Chris, if you could speak directly to Prime Minister Mark Carney on behalf of Cavalier Tools, what would you say?
Protect our manufacturing. You
100%. No manufacturing strategy in Canada for a long time at any levels of government. What would a manufacturing strategy mean for Cavalier Tools?
Well, hey, we already have it. We invest in equipment. We're spending $7-8 million a year in capex, new CNC machines, new technologies. We're looking for stuff all the time. We can't not do it right now, because if we don't do it right now, we'd fall behind, and it costs too much money to get back to where you need to be.
Well, we'll have to leave it there for now. Chris, thanks for taking the time to join us today to talk about Cavalier Tools and the mold making industry in Canada. It was a great conversation.
Thanks for having me, Jocelyn.
That's all the time I have for today. Thanks to my guests. I'm Jocelyn Bamford. Thank you for watching Canadian Innovators. If you're an innovator, tell us your story. Write to us at ideas@thenewsforum.ca, and we'll see you next time.